Football, Rising to Glory as the Strongest Post Player. Episode 131. The rain at the Etihad Stadium became heavier. The hearts of Manchester City fans became heavier and heavier. Otamendi's hasty passing angle did not pull away, and Li Qing, who was running at high speed like a wind, stretched his foot to change the trajectory of the football. Li Qing is facing Caballero to guard the goal. Otamendi is facing away from his own goal. His subconscious reaching out and pulling the shirt only caught a cloud of air, which is equivalent to watching Li Qing chase towards the football. Another centre-back, Stones, did not give up, gritting his teeth and swinging his hands quickly to try to drive those powerful thighs to speed up the alternating frequency, but speed was not his strong point. Even height and long legs did not help. New England sports commentator Jean Xiangkai looked at Li Qing football who appeared on the broadcast screen, and blurted out, "Li Qing cut off the ball at Otamendi's feet, in front of him. Only goalkeeper Caballero remains." "Oh shit." Guardiola, in front of the home coach, shook his hand angrily to express his strong dissatisfaction with Otamendi's handling of the ball. Before the game, he said countless times that on rainy days, the backcourt pass must wake up the spirit of 12, and if you are not sure, you must directly open the big foot, and never stop the ball. What he said only a few dozen minutes ago was taken as a wind in his ears. If it weren't for the fact that there was really no central defender available, he wouldn't have used Otamendi again. It's so watery. Goalkeeper Caballero is known for his goal line skills. He is not good at attacking at all, and suddenly he does not know how to be good. According to his understanding of Li Qing before the game, it seems that the single knife ball has not been lost so far. How to prevent this? Woo 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 woo. The hysterical boos of Manchester City fans resounded over the Etihad Stadium, who tried to influence Li Qing, who was chasing the ball at high speed. However, Li Qing did not affect, but may affect the central defender Stones, who returned to defense at full speed. Rainy days bring wet grass. Tall and long-legged Stones has a high center of gravity, and I don't know if he heard the overwhelming booing that affected the rhythm of running. His right forefoot lacked grip, slid forward, his heart clicked, and his heart said oops. In order to avoid strains during high-speed running, his left foot, which was dragged behind, was quickly lifted. Suddenly, the center of gravity was unstable, and he fell to the ground with a pop. Li Qing, who was thunderous in the defensive half of Manchester City, naturally did not pay attention to Stones, who fell to the ground, and he used the outside instep of his left foot to move the ball forward in a high-speed run. The two central defenders fell to the ground respectively, and the two fullbacks were in a position higher than the two central defenders, and it was obviously too late to turn around and chase Li Qing. Lux sports commentator Jean Jun shouted in his heart, "Liverpool's long-awaited opportunity has come." Li Qing suddenly accelerated to cut off the ball that Otamendi passed to Stones, and now he is directly guarding goalkeeper Caballero. Li Qing, who has not lost a single knife since the beginning of his career, will open the scoring first. As a well-known commentator, what does it mean that Jean County is ahead of Liverpool, where everyone else is clear? Manchester City, sitting at home, will certainly step up their attack if they don't lose and fall behind, so that the incredibly fast Li Qing and Maine have a chance to help Liverpool extend the game. This is also the fundamental reason why the media recently reminded Pep Guardiola's team not to concede the goal first. In the blink of an eye, Li Qing came to the front of the arc top of the big penalty area with the ball, and goalkeeper Caballero roared in his heart, which was regarded as cheering himself up, and then abandoned the goal. Li Qing waited for this opportunity. He slowed down his forward dribbling speed when Caballero came to the penalty spot, adjusted his footsteps and raised his left foot. Caballero, who attacked, subconsciously stopped on the spot, lowered his center of gravity, and was ready to save at any time. Only the next moment, he raised his head in frustration and stared at the football that took off into the air. Left-footed pick. Sky TV commentator Andy Gray's high mood instantly exploded. Goo 1. Meanwhile, the boos from the Etihad Stadium came to an abrupt end, replaced by hysterical shouts from Liverpool fans who accompanied the team's expedition. Li Qing, who made sure that the football fell into the snow-white net, turned a corner and ran to the visiting coach's dugout, first excitedly giving head coach Kropp a high five, and then playing a cooperative celebratory goal with Alexander-Arnold. This goal celebrates action. It's really creative. New England sports commentator Jean Xiangkai looked at Li Qing and Arnold, who were broadcasting the screen, and said excitedly. 10 meters away from the visiting coach's dugout, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola shook his head and sighed, conceding the goal first at home, and the rest of the game is bound to be difficult. The live director immediately gave the broadcast screen to the stars of Manchester City. Aguero, David Silva, De Bruyne, Sterling, and other players all felt depressed to varying degrees, and Otamendi, who was absolutely responsible for conceding the goal, did not dare to raise his head if Yaya Touré had not reached out to pull him up. It is estimated that he would not have gone down the steps. In the next game, as Guardiola predicted, in order to guard against Liverpool's quick counterattack, the own side did not dare to invest too many troops. Two fullbacks Chris and Fernandinho could not assist at the same time. The attack became not three-dimensional, and Fernandinho's best position was a defensive midfielder, making him play right back somewhat awkwardly, and the receiver would always subconsciously lean in the middle. so that the positions of Yaya Touré, De Bruyne and David Silva overlapped. Guardiola, who stood on the sidelines, was worried that the team's maladaptation would lead to new goals conceded. However, as the game went on, Pep Guardiola's fears gradually dispelled, and the tiki-taka tactics he implanted in the team completely controlled the scene. But Liverpool's defense during this period has been very good, which is equivalent to saying that Manchester City are just invincible. In the blink of an eye, half an hour into the game, the scoreboard still showed that the score was still 1-0 ahead of Manchester City by visiting Liverpool. The moderate rain in the sky turned into a light rain, the worried man changed from Guardiola to Klopp. His team had not touched football for several minutes, the mentality of the players changed a lot, and even individual players became a little irritable. That's not a good thing. Normal mind may not be able to play well, but playing a good game must have a normal mind. Emre Can took a foul on Sterling on the left flank at the top of the penalty area, and referee Michael Oliver saw it clearly, in addition to sounding the whistle to signal a foul, and gave Emre Can a yellow card. Lux Sports commentator Jean June said in a deep voice, "This position is dangerous, always from the goal. Aguero, De Bruyne and David Silva can all try." Immediately, Aguero ran a false shot, De Bruyne followed up with the shot, the football fell to the top left corner of the goal with a clear right-footed curve, goalkeeper Mignol was shaken by Aguero, and it was too late to make another save. Ayo. The huge shouts at the Etihad Stadium have already said something. Episode 132. Kevin De Bruyne equalized City with a direct free kick, and the feverish atmosphere at the Etihad Stadium was instantly detonated, with a wave of shouts. Liverpool manager Klopp shook his head and sighed that the team was too passive in the minutes before losing the ball, and even the football could not be touched. Even if there was a chance to play counterattack, it would be destroyed by Manchester City players in the first time. Li Qing's technique at his feet is indeed excellent, but he is difficult to defend against the opponent's three-man defense with both feet, and even if he can barely maintain control of the football, his best counterattack opportunity is lost. Sometimes Manchester City players foul very decisively, as long as they find that the timing is not right. Referee Michael Oliver gives face to the home team, and the tactical foul in the midfield is at most a verbal warning. The continuous pressure hit, and finally caused the goal to be conceded. Li Qing didn't have many mood swings, and he looked like he didn't have anything to do with losing the ball. In fact, Li Qing has long seen through that as a striker who scores, he only cares about scoring goals, and how many goals the defense conceded. He will score one more goal than the number of goals conceded by the defense. Isn't it also a win? In addition, Manchester City did play very well, although this is Pep Guardiola's first season in charge of Manchester City, but the players executed his tiki-taka tactics very well. The game was completely like a monkey in a training match, and the players who grabbed the ball could not touch the ball at all. The game is only more than 30 minutes, and there are still more than 50 minutes before the end of the game, so there is no panic at all. Beep. With the whistle of the on-duty referee Michael Oliver, the game was announced to have resumed. Liverpool, who had the advantage of kick-off, tried to open this situation quickly, and the football passed through a few kicks, and it naturally came to Li Qing's feet. Krish, Yaya Touré and Sane all appeared 2 meters in front of Li Qing, and they surrounded and blocked Li Qing's breakthrough space. Seeing this, Li Qing had to hand the ball sideways to Emre Can, who was receiving on the right side of the attack, who in turn handed it to Coutinho. Liverpool's attack on the right flank was in a slump, and Philippe Coutinho, who controlled the direction of the attack, consciously assisted Maine and Milner on the left. The effect achieved is more obvious, but the direct threat is not as good as the right side. Li Qing's attack can hit City's defense by 3 inches every time, but Maine, Milner and Philippe Coutinho cannot. Klopp is a little puzzled as to why there are more attacks on the left, but less than the threat on the right flank with significantly fewer attacks. The attack on the left ended with a cross from Milner. Roberto Firmino in the middle of the box failed to win against Stones, and Manchester City switched from defense to attack. Liverpool are also good at pressing high, getting close to Manchester City players with the ball at the first time, delaying Manchester City's counter-attack. When the Manchester City players with the ball had an easy chance to get the ball, the Liverpool players also returned to their own half, set up a defensive formation and waited for Manchester City to attack. The long period of fast-paced offense has brought a clear drop to the players on both sides, and the pace of attack is constantly decreasing in order to ensure that they can play the whole game. Until the end of the first half, the scoreboard showed that the score had not changed. Manchester City coach Conte, Tottenham manager Pochettino, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger and Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho all nodded their heads in satisfaction, saying that Manchester City's home draw against Liverpool was a good result. It's just that we're only halfway through the game, and the score they want to see isn't necessarily the end yet. Guardiola and Klopp, who appeared on the broadcast screen one after another, had more normal expressions, but more solemn. A draw is one of the best outcomes for the other 4 teams in the top 6, but for Manchester City and Liverpool, a draw is the last option. The 15-minute intermission was not long, short, and when the players from both sides entered the stadium, fans sitting in front of the television could see that the mental outlook of the players of both teams had changed a lot. If you can describe it in 2 words, it is assertive. When the broadcast screen can give Li Qing, he is high-fived with his teammates on the field. That confident smile affected every teammate, and even the Liverpool fans watching the game in front of the TV were in high spirits and confident about the next game. The first half was kicked off by Manchester City, and the second half was naturally kicked off by away team Liverpool, who apparently conducted an anatomical study of the game. Manchester United lost at home to Liverpool a week ago, and defended at full strength at the beginning, not giving Li Qing a chance at all. Li Qing's technique is indeed excellent. He has passed 1, 2, 3, but it is difficult to think about the 4th. It's not that he's not technically good, it's that Manchester City players will choose to foul. Liverpool's attack was fierce at the start of the second half, with Li Qing, who dribbled well, causing fouls on Manchester City players one after another. Michael Oliver, who had a soft whistle in the first half, suddenly became tight in the second half, and Krish and Yaya Touré received consecutive yellow cards. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola walked to the sidelines and paced back and forth, thinking of how to reverse the disadvantage of the second half. Yaya Touré and Krish have been yellow cards one after another, which will definitely have an impact on their next defensive moves. Li Qing's strong breakthrough ability and fast speed, as if allowing him to see Messi during the coaching of Barcelona, conventional defense cannot be guarded at all. A foul is likely to receive a second yellow card, resulting in a non-combat loss. How to beat the menacing Liverpool with one less fight. So Guardiola is ready to make changes to the squad. Kolarov, Sonia, and Fernando all ran to the warm-up area to warm up, and Li Qing's smart eyes, who were constantly looking for opportunities through running, rolled slightly. Manchester City's adjustment is definitely for the left flank, and both Krish and Yaya Touré have been yellow carded, which means that the period before completing the adjustment is a golden opportunity. Li Qing, who received the ball, faced the 2 defenses, did not break through, and directly raised a long pass with his left foot. Because Guardiola emphasized before the game and at halftime, even if Li Qing's long pass was very accurate, it did not pose a real threat. This happened 3 times in a row in 5 minutes, and when Li Qing raised his foot to prepare for his 4th long pass, the Manchester City players already had a habitual thinking. The corners of Li Qing's mouth rose slightly, and the Manchester City defender consciously leaned to the right of defense, and at this moment, the inside of his left foot jerked the ball to the right front. Sane couldn't react, and was rushed straight by Li Qing. Yaya Touré made up. Li Qing first made a false impression to accelerate, and then stopped sharply in place. The outside instep of his left foot swung the ball to the left, and took the inside line. Clichy quickly adducted and assisted De Bruyne in defending Li Qing, and Yaya Touré was attracted by Klein's forward insertion and did not follow. Ayo. Li Qing suddenly picked up speed, and the Manchester City players suddenly lost their proportions. Standing in front of the home coach's dugout, Guardiola raised his eyebrows and faintly felt unease in his heart. Episode 133. Li Qing's fake fax dunk accelerated past Sane, whose defensive ability was almost negligible, and faced Yaya Touré, who was in place to make a defensive move, chose to stop and change direction and accelerate from the outside towards the right rib. Klein stepped forward in time to attract Yaya Touré's attention. Krish and De Bruyne suddenly felt the pressure, and Manchester City fans in the audience felt the same unease as Pep Guardiola. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp is full of expectations. From the beginning of the second half to now, Li Qing has not had a decent breakthrough, either fouled or long pass transferred. Now suddenly change the rhythm of Sane and Yaya Touré to accelerate the inside, not to mention whether it can be effective, at least in the offensive end, can bring heavy defensive pressure to Manchester City. De Bruyne was weak in attack and defense. Seeing Li Qing accelerate the ball from the right to the right rib, he saw that he and Chris were in a good position. The two looked at each other, and at the same time stepped forward to press Li Qing's space to hold the ball. Li Qing, who had a wide field of vision, smiled confidently, and the outside instep of his left foot swung the football to the left, and the ball rolled against the grass to De Bruyne's original control area. De Bruyne's pupils shrank sharply, realizing that something was wrong, and quickly turned clockwise 90 degrees with his left foot as the axis, and his body ran towards the top of the arc of the big penalty area, thinking of buying time with Firmino, who received the ball to avoid him pulling his foot and shooting angrily in that position. In the second half, the rain was a little heavier, and a long-range shot about 30 meters from the goal was easy to cause the goalkeeper to get out of hand. And Caballero was the kind of goalkeeper who occasionally had better hands and mistakes, so as not to give Liverpool players long-range shots as much as possible in order to avoid losing the ball. Li Qing did not stop in place after passing the football to Firmino. He accelerated along the right rib of the attack, and Clichy realized that Li Qing might be going to complete a 2-on-2 cooperation with Firmino, and it would definitely be too late to turn around and go with Li Qing, so he reached out and pulled the jersey raised behind Li Qing. As soon as Chrissy's right hand touched Li Qing's jersey, he quickly let go, and he didn't even dare to pull it. He has already received a yellow card, and if Firmino passes the ball to Li Qing and Li Qing falls, referee Michael Oliver will whistle 9 times out of 10. When the time comes, the second yellow card will be a fatal blow to the individual and the team as a whole. Thinking of this possibility, Krish did not dare to foul. However, Clicey was thankful that Firmino did not give Li Qing the ball during the run, and he handed it to Coutinho in the middle, and then rushed towards Stones and Otamendi. No fouls, really a wise choice. The next moment, however, Krishy was extremely remorseful. Philippe Coutinho stepped on the ball with his right forefoot and pulled it to the right front, quickly followed the support with his left foot, and used the inside of his right foot to rub the inside of his right foot to attack the right rib about 30 meters from the goal. That is, Manchester City's defensive left rib. To be precise, it was Coutinho's long pass to Otamendi and Krish's defensive ribs. The live director quickly switched the camera and saw a Liverpool player wearing a red shirt appear on the switched broadcast screen, and the number 55 foot raised behind it told who its owner was. New British sports commentator Jean Xiangkai voiced Coutinho's long pass to find Li Qing. Clicey was left behind by Li Qing, and he raised his right arm to remind him that there was a suspicion of offside, and Otamendi, who was pulled out again, also raised his right hand, indicating that Li Qing was more suspicious. Standing in the home coach's command area, Guardiola spread his hands and looked at the assistant referee in bewilderment. In his opinion, Li Qing was offside. Referee Michael Oliver's position is definitely not as good as the first assistant referee, and he sees that the assistant did not raise the flag, and naturally he will not sound the whistle, otherwise it will be difficult to convince the public. As for whether it is offside, you can only know until the slow-motion replay. Otamendi also doesn't know if Li Qing is offside. As a qualified central defender, he must stick to defend. The football slowly fell from mid-air, and because Li Qing had already crossed the big penalty area line, Otamendi did not dare to make much move, lest he be puffed out by referee Michael Oliver for a penalty. Li Qing in the running used his chest to lead the ball to the right front. Otamendi, who kept a safe distance, suddenly snatched up. Li Qing unhurriedly raised his right foot and picked back the football that fell to the height of his stomach with the instep of his foot. Otamendi braked sharply on the spot, and Li Qing's left foot and the outer instep of his left foot led the football back horizontally to the middle, cutting inside. The right foot steps forward in time as a support, and the left foot is exaggerated and naturally raised. Shoot dash. Sky commentator Andy Gray raised his voice 2 degrees. Otamendi, who was defending Li Qing head-on, received his hands behind him, and his body used the huge reaction force brought by the sharp braking to move half a step to the middle, blocking Li Qing's shooting angle as much as possible. De Bruyne, who chased back to the line of the penalty area, picked up his pace and extended his right foot in an attempt to block Li Qing's left-footed shot from the right side of the box. The live director pushed the camera forward, and fans watching the game through live TV clearly saw Li Qing showing a smile. Manchester City fans gurgled in their hearts and became a little nervous. Li Qing did not shoot, and the inside of the instep of his left foot he put down slammed into the middle of the falling football, and the football obediently rolled towards the bottom line. Oops. Otamendi, who had already made a frontal blocking maneuver, realized the danger. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola watched from a distance as Li Qing dunked the ball to break through Otamendi's defense and face goalkeeper Caballero directly. Woo 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 woo. The sky over the Etihad Stadium resounded with boos from Manchester City fans. The attack is already active. Li Qing is super explosive, and it is too late for Otamendi to passively do defensive actions. Li Qing dodged Otamendi's defense, extended his right foot in an accelerated run, dunked the football back to the left side of his body on the inside of his instep, and goalkeeper Caballero dropped the goal. Li Qing, who came to the right side of the penalty area about 10 meters from the bottom line, adjusted the position of the football with the outer instep of his left foot, took a step forward with his right foot, the center of gravity of his body tilted to the right, his left foot was naturally raised, and the upward lift was not large, less than 90 degrees, and the arch of his foot swung along his calf and pushed hard towards the football. The football rolled from the right side of the penalty area against the grass to the goal, and Caballero, who was halfway out, suddenly felt a chill in his crotch, and his feet were subconsciously closed. However, the ball that rolls forward and accelerates is obviously a little faster. Li Qing, who finished shooting, did not look at the goal again. He opened his arms and ran all the way. Goal 1. Meanwhile, the iconic elongated voice of Sky commentator Andy Gray sounded in the Etihad Stadium live room. The ball sped through Caballero's crotch, over the goal line, and crashed into the snow-white net. New England sports commentator Jean Xiangkai was overwhelmed. The ball is in. The ball went in. I have to say that Li Qing is a very confident super goal scorer. He directly celebrated the goal after completing the shot, and did not watch football at all. In gaming terms, it's about turning back with confidence. Episode 134. Manchester City fans at the Etihad Stadium were very depressed, seeing their own team about to score, but Liverpool, who did not want to be a visitor, once again exceeded the score by attacking up front in this relatively passive situation. Score. New England sports commentator Gene Shankai shouted, Li Qing's average of 2 minimum spending per game against the big team has been completed. Will he score next? I think. Fans and friends sitting in front of the TV are looking forward to it, right? Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola scratched the top of his bare head in frustration, looking very helpless. Chelsea manager Antonio Conte, who was sitting in front of the TV watching the game, couldn't help but smash, it's useless. This can't be prevented. For the other 3 teams in the Premier League, perhaps a draw between Liverpool and Manchester City is the best benefit, but for Chelsea, the profit maximization is City's victory. Liverpool once again exceeded the score after more than an hour of the game, which was no small shock to Conte's wishful thinking. Of course, Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho and Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger are happy to see Manchester City lose. The live director gave a slow-motion replay, assisted by high-tech means, and Li Qing, who received the ball, happened to be on the same level as Stones, who dragged at the back, which means that there was no problem with the ball. Manchester City, who were once again behind at home, had no choice but to make 2 changes in quick succession, with Yaya Touré being replaced by Sonia and Kolarov replacing Krish. Logically, Guardiola should have been replaced by Iheanacho or Nolito, and Manchester City fans in front of the TV were puzzled. Lux Sports commentator Jean June explained to fans, Pep Guardiola's 2 adjustments seem to be for defense, but they are actually for attack. Krish and Yaya Touré have yellow cards. It is difficult to defend wholeheartedly. Fernandinho, who plays right back, is the most suitable position for a defensive midfielder. His position premise can free David Silva and De Bruyne. Kolarov has a stronger assist on the left than Clichy, and has a long-range shot and free kick skills. For Pep Guardiola, the most important issue to address before equalizing should be defense. Otherwise, there is a risk that the front attack does not score a goal, and the back defense conceded the goal first. Then it will be even more difficult to equalize the score. Pep Guardiola's philosophy is attacking, but he has not forgotten that the root of victory is based on solid defense, especially strong dialogue, which is especially important. Manchester City made 2 changes in a row, and Klopp was lost in thought, and he believes the team should make adjustments as well. When he saw the players on the bench, he shook his head. The bench depth was not enough, and the problem was that the substitutes did not have the effect of the players with serious physical consumption. So down, why change people? Immediately, Klopp's eyes looked at Li Qing, who was celebrating the goal. As long as Li Qing's physical fitness can still persist, there is no need to change. In a rich area of Barcelona, Messi, who was playing at home, suddenly remembered that there was a focus battle in Manchester this evening, so he gave his child to his wife Antonella, an 80-inch large LCD TV. After a few seconds of loading, the TV screen showed a slow-motion replay of Manchester City's goal at Liverpool. From Li Qing's sudden acceleration to break through Sane, to the ball, smashing past Otamendi and scoring the crotch, every process is like a precise calculation by a computer, meticulous. If it weren't for the color and size of the shirt, Messi would have thought that the man who scored the ball just now was himself. Technical characteristics, too similar. The on-site director gave Li Qing a close-up of his face, and Messi whispered, "Is he? No wonder it's so strong." In Madrid's rich area, Mini Ronaldo turned to Cristiano Ronaldo and said, "Papa, who is this Liverpool's number 55? That's awesome. I feel like he's no worse than my idol Leo Messi." Ronaldo rubbed miniature Luo's small head dotingly, looked at the 68-inch LCD TV again, and said in a deep voice, "It is indeed very powerful, but the shot in the box seems to be calmer than me and Leo, and handling the ball does not look like a 16-year-old boy at all." "What? Is he only 16? Miniature Luo was very surprised. "What's his name? I'll be a fan of him from now on." "His name is Qing Li, born in February 2001, is 9 years older than you, and you may have the opportunity to be teammates in the future. I wish there was a day." Miniature Luo was full of longing, and then his smart eyes winked at Ronaldo. "Papa, can't you be teammates with him?" Ronaldo was stunned, and then his eyes flashed, and he said in his heart, "Such an outstanding young man is really a teenager. How good would it be if he could join Real Madrid? No, I have to find a chance to recommend it to Mr. Florentino." He smiled and said, "I'll try it as much as I can." "Then Papa, you have to help me get an autograph and a jersey with him." "Baby son, rest assured, Papa will definitely help you when you have the opportunity." "Thank you Papa, Pua." The game resumed, with Manchester City, who had the advantage of kicking off, launching a tidal wave of attacks into Liverpool's defensive half in a gradual manner. Substitute Kolarov sent a penetrating cross from the left 45 degrees, and the football bypassed Matip in front of the post to accurately find Aguero in front of Craven. It's just that Aguero, who was stretching his foot to tackle during the high-speed run, found that his leg was broken a little. He didn't kick, and the football grazed the bottom line of his shoe, shocking the Liverpool players into a cold sweat. Lusher commentator Jean June said with a smile, "Legs hate to be short when they are used." Sky commentator Andy Gray looked at the slow-motion playback and said regretfully, "It's a pity." A kun is just a few centimeters away. The danger in front of Liverpool's goal was a complete wake-up call for Liverpool's defenders, who did not give Manchester City any chance for the next 10 minutes of the game. Time is running out less and less, and with only 10 minutes left before the end of the game, Li Qing's physical fitness has dropped significantly, but the physical potion he purchased in advance is still in the inventory, waiting for the opportunity to use it. Manchester City have made a third substitution, with Iheanacho replacing Sane, who has not played a great role, to increase the height of the top in the box. Klopp saw the move and replaced Coutinho with Lovren a minute later. Sky commentator Andy Gray laughed. It seems that Jurgen Klopp is ready to hold the 2-1 score until the end of the game. With the last 10 minutes left in the game, Jurgen Klopp chose to defend with all his might. Commentator Martin Taylor looked at Li Qing with the broadcast screen, and his words changed. Liverpool, which is fully defensive, may have more opportunities to quickly counterattack, I think. In the next 5 minutes, either Liverpool sealed the win, or Manchester City equalized, of course. It is also possible that the score may not change in any way. Andy Gray rolled his eyes and said in his heart, could it be that you can still say the fourth result? Episode 135. Manchester City made all 3 substitutions, and manager Pep Guardiola looked very nervous in the home team's coaching area. He had done everything he could, and the rest could only be done by 11 players on the field. Liverpool added a defensive player, and the tactics naturally leaned defensively, leaving only Li Qing and Main in front to take turns waiting for the counterattack. Ayo. Time is running out, and the shouts of Manchester City fans are getting louder and louder, like a tsunami, wave after wave. Liverpool fans who accompanied the team on the expedition felt increasing pressure, holding their breath for fear that breathing too much would affect their defense. The Liverpool players on the field have done a good job of defense, leaving very little offensive space for Manchester City players, and the direct benefit is that the defense seems to be in the wind, but in fact there is no direct danger. Goalkeeper Minale did not make any savings during this time, which is tantamount to saying that there is no major problem with the Liverpool defense. Fast forward 5 minutes into the game, and De Bruyne, who won the ball, did not give another pass to Aguero or Iheanacho, opting to shoot directly from distance 30 meters from goal. Although the rain is getting less and less at the end of the second half, the field is not dry, the football is still covered with rain, and the powerful long-range shot in this situation can often cause the goalkeeper to lose his hand. There are 2 secrets to breaking dense defense: long-range shots and set pieces. Compared to Liverpool, which has more altitude players, long-range shooting is more suitable for Manchester City now. David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Kolarov and Fernandinho all have a good long-range shot, and with less and less time left, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola can only acquiesce to the selection of players. This is his first season in charge of Manchester City, and will have to wait until next season to fully instill his football philosophy in the current players. In addition, many players cannot meet his tactical requirements, the back line is badly aging, and the most important goalkeeper needs to be replaced, and he needs the kind of goalkeeper who has strong organizational offensive ability. Bravo was originally very suitable, but I don't know why the transfer from Barcelona to Manchester City felt unsatisfactory, and Bravo, who has always been very stable, made fatal mistakes one after another. Rebuilding, it will take time. Hey, thinking of this, Guardiola couldn't help but sigh. Just then, Fernandinho fired a cold arrow, but his long-range shot was blocked by Emre Can with his body, and the football rolled towards De Bruyne, who attacked on the left rib. De Bruyne took the initiative to face the football, and a red figure suddenly flashed out from the right like lightning, stretching out his foot and stabbing the football. When it was too late, the red figure was in a hurry. De Bruyne turned his head to see the raised Arabic numeral 55 particularly dazzling, and his face was full of surprise. Is he? The stabbed football rolled towards Wijnaldum, and the ball went straight behind De Bruyne. Manchester City players at the end of the game is a halftime offensive and defensive drill. Both fullbacks are used as wingers. At this time, if Li Qing receives football is definitely caused, so Fernandinho, David Silva and Sonia all subconsciously pounced on Li Qing. Li Qing originally wanted to create opportunities through personal breakthroughs, but with a wide vision, he saw a teammate plugged in at high speed at the far end. Football flies faster than personal dribbling. Both Stones and Otamendi were conscious of moving to their side, not noticing Main at the far end, saying that the passing would be maximized. Li Qing turned around and caught the ball in one go, and after attracting enough defensive players, he suddenly picked up his left foot and kicked the inside of his foot towards the bottom of the football. The soccer ball flew diagonally from the right side of the defense to the left side of the attack, considering that Main was extremely fast, and the advance amount of long passes was a bit large, just suitable for Main to advance at full speed. Stones and Otamendi, who had consciously approached in the direction of Li Qing's dribbling, looked over with the flight trajectory of the football, which did not know, and was startled when they saw it. Main, who is second only to Li Qing in Liverpool, is running at full speed along the left flank and chasing the football. Goalkeeper Caballero, who stood at the top of the Manchester City penalty area, watched the football come and was obligated to abandon the goal. Li Qing's long pass is indeed a bit large in advance, but the footwork he chose is a backspin long pass, which is equivalent to saying that there will be a significant reduction in speed after the football lands. The live director gave a long-range shot, and fans sitting in front of the TV could see Maine cross the halfway line and chase the slowing football. Caballero, who hit halfway through, instantly repented. Speed has always been a goalkeeper's disadvantage, and at the age of 36, his physical function has declined very much, and he has a chance of winning less than 1% with the extremely fast Maine. Now Caballero is in a very awkward position. It is not to continue forward, nor to stop where he is. It is also looking ahead and looking backwards that makes him lose the opportunity to meet the brave and win in the narrow road. Maine's high-speed run forwards the football, which is basically no longer rolling forward, to the center, and behind him on the left are Stones and Otamendi, who are gritting their teeth. After thinking about it, Caballero felt that he should sacrifice something for the team. 1:2 is obviously easier to equalize than 1:3, but Maine is not stupid, on the contrary very smart. Realizing that Caballero is going to foul, he dives out early. Sky British commentator Andy Gray naturally said, "There is no suspense in this game, and Liverpool, which expands the score, is equivalent to sealing the victory." The next ending is a bit cruel to Caballero. The die-hard Manchester City fans didn't give up and closed their eyes and prayed that Maine would be part of the Grandma Can Score series. I don't know if Maine felt the curse of Manchester City fans, and he caught up with the football to ensure that it was foolproof. He did not shoot directly, but brought the football to the box at full speed to complete a small push. The ball slowly rolls towards the unguarded goal at a very slow speed until it hits the snow-white net. Ayo. The Liverpool fans who accompanied the team on the expedition instantly boiled, unleashing their long-lost passion, and hysterical shouts swept the entire Etihad Stadium in this instant. The ball went in. The ball went in. Le Sport commentator Jean June raised his voice and shouted ecstatically, "Li Qing's long pass is like a refined missile, accurately find Maine, who is running at high speed, and Maine very calmly crosses Caballero to score an empty goal, helping Liverpool extend the score to 2 goals. With 3 minutes left in regular time, Maine's goal was the equivalent of helping Liverpool seal the win." Episode 136. Maine, who broke the goal drought, was very excited. He wanted to stand in place and wait for his teammates to come forward to celebrate the goal that sealed the victory, but Yu Guang saw that his teammates were dozens of meters away, waiting for his teammates to affect his temperament a little. His brain was running at high speed, and he chose to open his arms and run to the nearest visiting team coach's dugout to celebrate the goal with the coaching staff. Klopp was thrilled that his iconic combo made his debut at the Etihad Stadium. Immediately, he faced Maine running at high speed with a hideous expression, and his heart was surging, and the two came to celebrate with a blood-pumping chest collision in front of the broadcast screen. Li Qing, who sent out the long pass, felt a stomach cramp in the calf of his left foot, and sat directly on the grass. Klopp Yu Guang, who celebrated the goal with Maine, saw the player with the red shirt sitting on the ground, and suddenly his heart clicked, and when he looked up, his little heart was cold. "Li, you can't get hurt." Also frightened were central defender Craven and goalkeeper Minale, who ran to Li Qing in a hurry. I only listened to Li Qing pointing to the calf of his left foot and saying, "Ragnar, Simon, I had cramps in my left foot." Clavin and Minale let out a breath at the same time. Clavin held Li Qing's extended left foot with his left hand, and pressed the forefoot with his right hand hard, the kind that pressed down as much as possible. Seeing this, Klopp exhaled a long breath, and with the consent of referee Michael Oliver, the team doctor came on the field. It is worth mentioning that Li Qing stopped and turned to catch the ball at that time to prepare for a quick counterattack with a physical potion, but he saw his teammate Maine plugged in at high speed, so he gave up using the physical potion and chose a long pass. With the 87 minutes of the regular game coming up, he didn't think a frustrated Manchester City would score 2 goals in a row in the remaining minutes, so he didn't use the fitness potion to restore some of his strength. The broadcast screen gave the cramp Li Qing. Shining sports commentator Jin Xiangkai said, "Li Qing contributed 2 goals and 1 assist in this game, fully completed the task. There are less than 3 minutes left in the regular game, the 3 points are basically in hand, he can also retire." Arnold, who was warming up in the warm-up area, was called back by assistant coach Bovac and then replaced Li Qing before the game resumed. The signal is very clear, which is to defend with all your might in the last few minutes. Li Qing was substituted late in the game, and Manchester City, who should have seized the opportunity to score, did nothing in attack, and wave after wave of attack failed to tear apart Liverpool's solid defensive system. Just after the 4th minute of injury time, referee Michael Oliver decisively blew the final whistle. Beep, beep, beep. 2 short and long whistles sounded over the Etihad Stadium, and the Manchester City players in the stadium slumped on the ground in frustration, and manager Pep Guardiola was in a big mood and took the initiative to walk to the coach's dugout to shake hands with Klopp. The game is over. The game is over. At the same time, sports commentator Jin Xiangkai in the live broadcast room said, Liverpool beat the home team Manchester City 3-1 away with 2 shots and 1 pass from young player Li Qing, completing all the wins against Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal and Manchester City in the second half. They are only 8 points less than leaders Chelsea in 1 round less. Sitting on the bench, Li Qing scored 2 goals and 1 assist in the game, undisputedly becoming the best of the match, and he appeared on the broadcast screen with a burning smile and a high-fived hug with his teammates to celebrate the victory. Those Liverpool fans sitting in front of the TV are deeply in love with Li Qing in front of them, and those neutral fans also faintly like the 16-year-old boy. Without Li Qing's knowledge, his INS personal authentication account has approached 1 million followers. Lux Sports commentator Zhang Junlingsheng said, 16 years old is the age of school, the age of addiction to games, but the Chinese teenager Li Qing is the starting 11 for the Reds at this age, dominating the Premier League. Liverpool won all the leagues from the end of January to the end of the away defeat of Manchester City. Not to mention Li Qing with his own strength, but I believe that there is no fan opposition, right? What is a gap? That's the gap. MMP. Countless fans sitting in front of the TV began to reflect, and some parents opened the door of their children's rooms, looked at the same 15 or 6-year-old children, and whispered in hatred. Li Qing, the best of the day, still did not go to the mixed area for an interview, and he and his teammates thanked the fans for their support before returning directly to the locker room. Manchester City fans who are diehard in the stands have been reluctant to watch for a long time. They thought that Pep Guardiola's takeover of Manchester City was the beginning of the rise, and it did perform well at the beginning of the season, but as the league progressed, Guardiola gradually showed signs of unsatisfactory, leading the team to lose points one after another, not to mention the key red and blue battles. Liverpool fans danced excitedly, like a complete child. After the 29th round of the 2016 to 2017 Premier League season, the international break in March is next, which means that players with national team matchday tasks will return to their respective national teams to prepare for the rekindled World Cup qualifiers in Russia. In order to praise the contribution of players who do not have national team assignments during this time, Klopp specially gave players a week off, but also said that it is okay if players are willing to return to Melwood training ground after 2 days off. This sentence was obviously told to Li Qing. Liverpool began to perform better and better at the end of January this year. Adult players were affectionate by the national team, young players were affectionate by the national youth team, but Li Qing was not called. Klopp is puzzled and glad that Li Qing is only 16 years old, and if he participates in a World Cup qualifier event with a high chance of injury early, his future career may be in jeopardy. But England under-19 and under-17 teams seem to have tasks during the international break in March, right? The risk factor of the senior national team competition is high, and the national youth team does not have such a big problem. Judging from Li Qing's strength, the English national team does not say the main force, and there is always no problem with substitutes. The national youth team of 2 age groups is definitely the main force. Li Qing has had a great performance in the England U18 National Super League and the FA Youth Cup, coupled with his super state since his debut. He has not been called, which is somewhat incomprehensible. There are also local media in England, who believe that Li Qing is fully capable of shortlisting for the senior national team coached by Southgate. And no matter how bad it is always possible to be shortlisted for the national youth team. The domestic media became excited during this time. The FA turned a blind eye to the talented Li Qing, and the Football Association could fully honor Corporal Sien and naturalize Li Qing back through special talents. The senior leader of the Football Association, who noticed the media's reward, snorted haughtily, "I don't understand the rules at all." Episode 137. Li Qing was not called up by England's national team at all levels, causing an uproar in Great Britain, which also seriously affected the preparation of the senior national team for the World Cup qualifiers. England internationals Harry Kane, Kyle Walker, Gary Cahill, Smalling, Stones, Sterling, Walcott, Vardy, and other players who have played against Li Qing have expressed their puzzlement in media interviews. Club teammates Henderson and Klein were even angry in media interviews, believing that it was a sin not to call Li Qing. Southgate felt very depressed. He did not recruit Li Qing completely because Li Qing was too young, and there were high-level officials in the FA who did not support calling Li Qing to be selected for the senior national team. In addition, Li Qing's age is more suitable for U17 or U19, and even U21 and U23 are not stressful. Odd-numbered years are 2 major Youth World Cup years, and Li Qing, who has great strength, should represent England in the U20 World Cup and the U17 World Cup in the 3 countries of baseball and Afghanistan respectively. In this regard, Southgate also held a special press conference, saying to the outside world that not recruiting Li Qing into the England national team is not a conspiracy theory as the media said. Any Englishman with British nationality is eligible to be selected for the England national team, and Li Qing was not recruited because of his young age. Although Southgate held a press conference to explain the situation, the media are not fools, they can think of deeper problems. The local media in England obviously paid attention to media reports, and now many media and fans in China have called on Li Qing, who has blood within 3 generations of blood in the Football Association, and they believe that the FA should be implemented as soon as possible. Is one of the few countries on the earth that does not recognize dual nationality, so to join the nationality, you must give up the British nationality, so that the future Li Qing will only have nationality, and there will be no place for English fans to cry at that time. It is Liverpool who trained Li Qing. Liverpool belongs to England, and the superstars they have cultivated will be handed over. And the English media feel that the future FA will become the laughingstock of fans around the world. After reading the media reports, the FA senior management fell into deep thought. Li Qing has proven himself through the Premier League and FA Cup. No matter what age group he is shortlisted for, it is more than enough. Since has prepared to plan the second generation of Chinese Li Qing, it is necessary to urgently convene a working meeting to discuss the recruitment of Li Qing into the England national team. If the meeting approves, roster changes can be made before the World Cup qualifiers. Li Qing, who had just finished school, walked side by side with Tom with his school bag, walked to the bus stop, and the mobile phone in his hand vibrate. He thought it was his girlfriend Tong Shenbing calling, but when he took it out, he saw that it was a mobile phone number without a remark, and raised his eyebrows. Tom asked curiously, "Li, why don't you answer the phone? Strange call, I don't know who called." "Then hang up," Tom suggested. Li Qing felt that the suggestion was feasible and hung up the phone. After half a minute, the phone rang again. He frowned, and finally chose to answer. If someone else makes a mistake, they will definitely think for a moment after hanging up, and call again. It is likely that the number owner wants his mobile phone number from other channels. "Hello, who are you?" A mature voice came from the mobile phone earpiece. "Hello, Li, let me introduce myself first. I am FA Technical Director Les Reed." Hearing this, where did Li Qing, who had a 30-year-old soul, not know the other party's intentions? Isn't the FA Technical Director just cooperating with the head coaches of the English national team at all levels to select suitable international players? Li Qing wants to participate in the World Cup, and with British nationality, he represents England in the World Cup is the most direct way. But as a 100% person, he always has an obsession in his heart. Fight for, no matter how bad the reputation of football is. After all, that is their homeland. But then again, now the domestic media and fans are indeed very loud, but the Football Association has no voice. On the contrary, it is faintly unwelcome. He is still young and can wait, but what do the FA officials have to say? Make a phone call like FA Technical Director Les Reed? It's just that there has been no sound until now. Li? You hear me? Les Reed's voice reached Li Qing's ears through the earpiece again. Li Qing came back to his senses and said in a deep voice, "Mr. Rice, to tell you the truth, although I have British nationality and was born and raised in Liverpool, I still want to represent my motherland *** to fight. As far as I know, it seems that the Football Association hasn't contacted you yet, right?" Les Rees on the other end of the mobile phone was not dissatisfied with Li Qing's words, but said very patiently, obviously doing his homework before calling. Li Qing was speechless for a while. Les Reed saw that Li Qing did not speak, and continued, "The U20 World Cup and the U17 World Cup will start this summer and October respectively. The World Cup in Russia will start next June. Everyone has their own choice. Li, you are still young. There is still a long career in the future. I am here to declare on behalf of the FA, England national teams at all levels are open to you at any time." Les Rees is really talented. Li Qing has brought out a high level that countless top strikers cannot achieve since the beginning of his career, and if he can represent England's national team at all levels in the World Series, he will have a high chance of winning higher glory with the team. As he said, Li Qing is still very young. Even if he can't participate in the 2017 U20 and U17 World Cups, he can still participate in the U20 World Cup in 2 years, and he can't participate in the 2018 World Cup in Russia. Then he can still participate in the 2022 Qatar World Cup. But he was worried that the Football Association would honor Corporal Li Qian during this time, and when the time came. That's the trouble. Thinking of this, he shook his head. Studying domestic media reports, he knew that Football Association is very arrogant. Maybe it is also possible to assist Li Qing to join the England national team at all levels. Li Qing was very moved, although he said that he wanted to fight for but the national football team did not take the initiative to contact, and he had no way to solve the nationality problem. Talents are not cherished here. Can you blame yourself? He can't go to the Football Association, can he? People are all dignified. After a moment of silence, he said, "Mr. Rice, I am very happy to be loved by the FA, and I will consider your suggestion seriously." Les Reed knew that this was almost the best answer, and he stopped and spoke very gentlemanly. "Then I will wait for your phone when the time comes. This number is my personal number." Episode 138. As the fifth round of Group F qualifiers for the World Cup in Russia approached in the race to Lithuania, the focus of the local media in England was almost back on this match. The main match of the World Cup in Russia will not wait until next year, and it is not very urgent to call Li Qing into the England national team. But England U20 coach Simpson and U17 manager Cooper are dissatisfied with the efficiency of the FA. Li Qing is temporarily not fit for the English senior team, but he meets the Youth World Cup held by these two age groups this year. It's really full and hungry. The under-20 youth team has young talents such as Ocho, Iaria, Solanke and Luckman in attack, but it is several notches behind Li Qing, who conquered the Premier League. The U17 youth team also has such a problem. It is undeniable that Sancho, Foden, Callum Odoi and other potential stars are already very good, but compared with Li Qing, it is several +1 grades worse. Although such news reports will make England U20 and U17 youth players dissatisfied, Li Qing has participated in the England U18 National Super League and the Youth FA Cup, and the players who have played with him know how powerful he is. Especially, Li Qing has proven himself in the Premier League, and players with opinions can only hold it in their hearts. Who makes Li Qing stronger? England is preparing for the European qualifiers for the World Cup in Russia. Men's football is also preparing for the World Cup Asian qualifiers. The difference is that England is currently ranked first in Group F. Men's football is the last one, because the first 5 rounds of the group stage only got 2 draws and 2 points. In the group stage there are still 5 rounds left in the theoretical possibility of qualifying. Italy's Marcello Lippi, who took over the men's team, is leading the team to prepare for the 6th round of World Cup qualifiers against favorites. Compared to the men's team, which has only 2 points, the baseball country men's team has much more points, and they are second in the group with 10 points. The penultimate and second place, plus the overall strength, has long been clear. Many media and fans think that this game is without any suspense. Even many domestic media and fans think so. Li Qing, who crossed over, knows that if nothing else, the men's football team will defeat the baseball country men's football team that lacks Sun Xingmin 1 o'clock at the Marshall Sports Center in Star City. Li Qing's offensive ability is super strong. The men's football team in preparation is naturally affected by the media and fans. In order to make the national football team feel at ease to prepare, the senior management of the Football Association specially held a press conference at the headquarters of the Imperial Capital Football Association, saying that the men's football team has no precedent for naturalization, and does not consider naturalized players for the time being, hoping that the domestic media and fans will focus on the men's football team in Star City, preparing for the World Cup qualifiers. The implication is very obvious: the Football Association will not bother to introduce Li Qing, who has the blood of Yan Huang's descendants. Li Qing, who saw the report of the Ball Emperor, was very disappointed. He had already stated that he was the person. As long as the Football Association came forward to solve the problem of introducing special talents, then he could represent to participate in the World Cup qualifiers. According to the historical trajectory, the men's team is only 2 points away from the playoffs, and these 2 points can be taken back in the draw against Syria on neutral courts. Now it seems that he is thinking a little too much. Football Association, very proud. At 7:35 p.m. Imperial Capital Time on March 23, the World Cup qualifiers were watched live on TV. Yu Xiaobao's header helped the men's football team defeat the country of baseball 1-0 at the Marshall Sports Center, allowing the men's team to rekindle the hope of entering the main stage of the National World Cup. The attention of the domestic media is all focused on the miracle that the men's football team may create, temporarily forgetting the unhappiness of the Football Association that has no intention of naturalizing Li Qing. However, in the subsequent away challenge to Wolf was beaten back to the original form, 0-1 lost to the group number 1 Wolf. The men's football team with 5 points in 7 games has a 12-point gap from the top Wolf, and 8 points from the second place in the group. That is to say, in the case of 3 rounds left in the group stage, the men's football team still has the theoretical possibility of directly qualifying from the group. Fans who have a little thinking skills know that this possibility is almost zero. Even the possibility of surpassing Uzbekistan to finish 3rd in the group is low. After all, not everyone knows like Li Qing that Uzbekistan only got 1 point in the last 3 rounds. The loss of the men's team to the Wolf men's team basically means that they can prepare for the 2022 Qatar World Cup in advance. As a result, the domestic media had the voice of naturalizing Li Qing. If the men's football team naturalizes Li Qing, isn't it a matter of sprinkling water to defeat Wolf? In fact, head coach Lippi agrees with the domestic media's statement that Li Qing was naturalized, but the Football Association was unwilling to kick off the naturalization. Until a deputy director of the office saw the report of the authoritative media Sports Weekly, the article mentioned that Li Qing may become the Yao Ming of the men's football industry, and his eyes immediately lit up. What he saw was not a football revival, but something else. Yao Ming stayed in the ocean that year, and the Basketball Association asked him for 50% of his income as a training fee. Didn't Li Qing want to represent the men's football team? With precedent, then contributing 50% is not too much, right? I think it's too much. 40% or 30% will do. Li Qing has not been trained by the Football Association, and the training fee is not suitable, so it will be replaced with caring for domestic youth training. The deputy director of the office felt that he was shown by his ingenuity and was overwhelmed. If Li Qing agrees, the Football Association eats meat and drinks its own soup. The above leaders will definitely have a great possibility to readily agree to the proposal to naturalize Li Qing, and then the domestic media and fans will cheer, which is equivalent to saying that themselves, the Football Association and fans can win 3. As the international break in March came to an end, the players returned to their respective clubs, and Liverpool, who resumed training, turned their attention to the Merseyside County Derby at home at Anfield Stadium on the 42nd. Liverpool's league game at home to Everton was the first game of the 30th round of league games, which was played at 11:30 p.m., which is not a suitable time for kick-off, but Liverpool are in very good shape overall. The game took the lead in the 8th minute. Li Qing, Firmino, and Coutinho hit the wall in succession at the top of the arc of the penalty area. Coutinho cut forward to attract the defense, and Maine received a pass from Li Qing in the box and shot low into the far corner. 10 minutes later, Liverpool extended the scoreline. Li Qing's precise long pass found Milner inserted at high speed, who swept the ball directly into the middle of the box, and Roberto Firmino extended the scoreline. Before the end of the first half, Li Qing received a straight ball from Philippe Coutinho's scalpel and pushed into the box, facing Jagurka's defensive choice to shoot into the far corner. Goalkeeper Robles side and helped Liverpool kill the game. The fly in the ointment was that defender Lovren lost his mind in the second half and was pulled back by Pennington, who made his debut for Everton against the Merseyside derby. In the end, Liverpool beat Everton 3-1 to win their 22nd Merseyside derby in the Premier League. Episode 139. Liverpool's 3-1 win at home to Everton is just 5 points behind leaders Chelsea in the first round, and if they continue to win the make-up game at home to Burnley, they will be left with only 2 points. Of course, the 2 points were to be built on Chelsea's home defeat to Crystal Palace. Chelsea are at the top of the league table and Crystal Palace are 16th in the league, just 4 points ahead of the relegation round, which means that the chances of Crystal Palace beating Chelsea away are very slim. However, many Liverpool fans began to pray that Crystal Palace, under relegation pressure, would burst into 200%. One of the biggest highlights of the Premier League is that weak teams often break out in desperate situations to beat the big teams, and this kind of game is played every season in the Premier League, so Liverpool fans have become Crystal Palace fans and support Crystal Palace as a visitor. Chelsea fans scoffed and dismissed. The team they support have lost just 2 of their last 18 league games against Crystal Palace, with the two sides having met 15 times in the Premier League in the past, with Chelsea having the upper hand with 11 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats. Chelsea took the lead from the start of the game to the 5th minute, but in the next 6 minutes, Liverpool's old Bentique scored a pass to help Crystal Palace win 2-1 against Chelsea. Chelsea, who are in a good situation in the league, naturally will not easily admit defeat and increase their attack, but the score has not changed in the remaining 70 minutes, and in the end, Crystal Palace beat top side Chelsea in a trip to the table. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp and the players watching live TV were thrilled, with Chelsea losing the game and the team only 5 points behind Chelsea with 1 round missing, and beating Burnley in the playoff round would leave the difference by only 2 points. Chelsea's remaining 8 league opponents in addition to Manchester City doubles, as well as Southampton and Everton such hard bones. On the other hand, Liverpool, including Burnley, the remaining 8 opponents are not strong. Only the FA Cup. Liverpool is left with a cup task is fully likely to reap a wave of consecutive wins. Chelsea host Manchester City in the next round and visit Manchester United in the 33rd round, and as long as one of the 2 games is conceded, then Liverpool will have a chance to beat the points. The local Liverpool media and fans were thrilled to see the first league title since the Premier League was established waving to them. Klopp gave the team 2 days off to give the players a better spirit for the rest of the league. Li Qing took classes at Bluecoat Middle School in the morning and was going to Melwood to practice in the afternoon, and after lunch, he unexpectedly received a call from his agent Mendes. The reason why I say unexpected is that the reason for the call is difficult to guess. According to Mendes, Qing Yong, a self-proclaimed deputy director of the Football Association office, wanted to meet somewhere to discuss the naturalization of. The reason why I can't guess is that the Football Association has held a press conference at the headquarters of the imperial capital during the international break, saying that there is no intention to naturalize foreign players with blood. Why did the deputy director of the Football Association office take the initiative to come to the door? Is it a liar? Thinking of this, he used Baidu to search for the deputy director of the Football Association, and the result was that there was really a deputy director named Chen Yong, but the ranking was relatively low. Later, Li Qing sent Mendes a photo to confirm, and Mendes replied that it was this person. After a short thought, he decided to meet the deputy director of this office. Participating in the World Cup is important, but being a good person is even more important. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Li Qing saw Mendes, Chen Yong, deputy director of the Office of the Football Association, and 2 young people he did not know at Starbucks in the center of Liverpool. Mendes had a high emotional intelligence and took the initiative to leave after Li Qing arrived, leaving time for Li Qing, Chen Yong and the 2 officers. Chen Yong's appearance is a standard official image, about 40 years old, wearing a pair of glasses, hair 3 or 7 points, holding a not small belly, sitting there, giving people a sense of not being angry and self-threatening, and at a glance it is used to being a leader. Mendes helped a few people order coffee earlier, and Li Qing sat on the opposite side, looking at Chen Yong lightly. Chen Yong's eyebrows raised slightly. It stands to reason that the young man sitting opposite shouldn't be flattering when he sees the leader. Relieved to think that the other party was a 16-year-old young man without a father or mother, he glanced at the 2 officers, and the 2 stood up in tacit agreement and walked out. Li Qingjian raised his eyebrows, faintly feeling that what the other party said was a little secretive. Chen Yong showed a smile that he thought was amiable and said, "Xiao Li, I am Chen Yong, deputy director of the Football Association office. don't be so nervous. Don't call me Director Chen or anything in private, you can directly call me Uncle Chen. The corner of Li Qing's mouth twitched slightly, and he said darkly in his heart, little master, I never thought of calling you self-righteous. But when he said it, it was another sentence. Uncle Chen, I don't know what you are looking for me for. Chen Yong looked at Li Qing with a smile, still with that smiling tiger smile, and opened the door. There is currently no intention to naturalize Chinese players within the Football Association. Then you. What are you looking for me for? I am the deputy director of the office. If you want, I can apply to my superiors. Chen Yong said lightly, rubbing his right thumb and index finger twice. Where can't Li Qing see what the other party means? This? It's for benefits, but he is now a 16-year-old boy, and he shouldn't know so much about human feelings, so he asked puzzled, Uncle Chen, didn't you say that there is no intention to naturalize Chinese players within the Football Association? So what else do you apply to your superiors? Chen Yong smiled and said, the method is thought up by people. I said that if you can contribute 50% of your income to the Football Association to cultivate youth talents like Yao Ming did back then, I think there is no reason why the top management of the Football Association would reject a high-level Chinese player who cherishes the motherland. Hearing this, Li Qing already knew what the other party was doing. He smiled and said nothing, and Chen Yong continued, by the way, this 40% belongs to the Football Association, and the remaining 10%, as Uncle Chen, my hard work should be very reasonable, right? Li Qing's pupils shrank, and he no longer had any interest in listening to him, and directly refused, this is impossible. Shaoli, nationality is the most difficult nationality on this planet. After passing this village, there is no more this store, you have to think clearly. The smile on Chen Yong's face dropped a lot, and there was a faintly threatening tone in his words. Whether it was before or after the crossing, what he hated the most was the threat, and said coldly, I am concerned about the motherland and I want to complete the naturalization, representing the men's soccer team. If I have to use this dirty way to restore my nationality, I would rather not. Then you never want to get nationality. Chen Yong no longer pretended, holding his hands to his chest, looking like he was holding the victory. Li Qing stood up, supported the table with both hands, and looked at each other condescendingly. My parents are people, I am also people. Patriotism is the national spirit in my bones. Since this is the case, I will use my way to be patriotic. After saying that, he no longer paid attention to the other party and walked out directly. Episode 140. Lu, a reporter who understands the football emperor, is like a high-level paparazzi, and he follows from a distance from Li Qingfeng to Starbucks in the center of Liverpool, thinking about whether he can shoot some useful material. Due to the warning of the Liverpool club and Li Qing's non-acceptance of media interviews, he did not intersect with Li Qing in his life, naturally failed to become friends, and thus had no way to get first-hand information, so that the verbal agreement he reached with the CEO could not be honored, so he was forced to do what the paparazzi did. Lu, wearing a mask, followed Li Qing into Starbucks, and inside, he also saw Li Qing's legendary agent Mendes, a predator in the world football agent world. I vaguely felt that something big was happening. Just as a couple at the table behind Li Qing got up to leave, he walked over and sat on Li Qing's back. After a while, Mendes and the two young men left separately, which meant that only Li Qing and the middle-aged man sitting opposite were left. Unexpectedly, the middle-aged man turned out to be the deputy director of the Football Association office, and he took out his mobile phone to search in disbelief, and the ID photo was exactly the same as the middle-aged man opposite him. To be a qualified journalist, you must have a keen sense of smell. Lu, who considered himself a qualified reporter, took out the camera in his bag and put it on the table, aimed the camera at the back of Li Qing's side and the front of Chen Yong, then took out his mobile phone to change positions, sat back to back with Li Qing, and turned on the mobile phone to record. Perhaps because of a foreign land, neither of them deliberately suppressed their voices when they spoke, and Lu heard everything clearly. Soon, it was about Li Qing's naturalization. Suddenly, the spirit of the land road was lifted, and now domestic media and fans want to see Li Qing naturalized back to China. The deputy director of the Football Association office took the initiative to talk to Li Qing about naturalization. That is at 8 or 9 and 10 next. At that time, as the first reporter to provide exciting news, he will definitely be cared for by Mr. Chen, promoted and raised, and it will not be a problem to step on the peak of life. When Deputy Director Chen Yong talked about the Football Association's current plans for naturalization, his eyebrows couldn't help but rise and fall into deep thought. Since the Football Association has no naturalization plan, why did he look for Li Qing? It wasn't until the topic shifted to Li Qing's need to hand over 50% of his personal income to the Football Association that the answer was revealed. It turned out, ask for money is the real purpose. As a conscientious reporter, he knows that if this money is handed over to the Football Association, 9 times out of 10, it will be meat buns and beating dogs. Do youth training? Has the Football Association ever done youth training? No. Especially in the end, he said that 40% was handed over to the Football Association and 10% was handed over to Chen Yong as a hard work, and he suddenly became angry. Li Qing's refusal is an expected not. Who would be willing to give half of their hard-earned money to a football association that has no connections, or even 10% of it to the hardship fee? What is the point of such naturalization? Li Qing took the initiative to seek naturalization because he was concerned about the motherland, but it does not mean that he can be slaughtered by others. As Li Qing said, the national spirit and patriotism, exchanging money for money, will make his patriotic feelings extremely dirty. There are too many officials who have the intention to serve the country and are helpless to be greedy and violate the law. Li Qing left Starbucks very manly, and Lulu did not leave with him, and he was absolutely afraid that there would be fierce news next. Sure enough, the tall young man waiting at the Starbucks gate walked up to Chen Yong and asked, "Director Chen, didn't that kid agree?" "Humph. Thinking that if you have a little achievement abroad, you will be unseen, and such young people should be well suppressed. Want to naturalize? Without a 20% revenue contribution, don't even think about it," Chen Yong said coldly. "Director Chen, I have a plan. I don't know if you are interested in hearing it." The thin young man's eyes flashed. "You said." It turned out that some high-level officials within the Football Association had some yearning for naturalization that had not been tried, but conservatives were unwilling to break the old rules, so Chen Yong saw that it was profitable and took the initiative to asking to go to Liverpool, England, to contact Li Qing. According to Chen Yong, if Li Qing contributes 40% of his personal income to the Football Association for youth training, he is confident to convince conservatives within the Football Association. After all, the investment is uncle. Li Qing is a second-generation Chinese. It is easy to use national power. But the most important point is that Li Qing must take out 50% of his personal income. China has never refused to invest, and when the time comes, it will convince conservatives to have a little more confidence. Li Qing refused Chen Yong's proposal, undoubtedly offending Chen Yong and cutting off people's wealth. And the suggestion of the short and thin young man was to find an opportunity to stink Li Qing's reputation and make him a street rat that everyone shouted at in China. At that time, Li Qing, who is only 16 years old, will definitely rest and give up more income. Chen Yong and the two officers looked at each other and laughed, and Lulu, who was full of blood, was angry in his heart, but he did not vent it, and now he had not only the video recordings of Li Qing, Chen Yong and the two officers, but also carefully taken photos. If Chen Yong, who returned to China, wanted to stink Li Qing's reputation, he put these evidences on the internet to let fans see what is called shamelessness and what is silent patriotism. Lulu stretched out after leaving Starbucks. He originally thought that there would be a good material, but it turned out to be as he wished. But now he can't announce it in advance, so he can only sigh. According to his thoughts, Chen Yong used trumped-up charges to stink Li Qing's reputation. Li Qing will definitely be unable to argue at that time, and someone urgently needs to stand up and come up with strong evidence, and himself. There is exactly the evidence that Li Qing needs. The rescued Li Qing will definitely know about N2 and become friends with each other. Won't he sprinkle water if he wants Li Qing's first-hand information in the future? "I'm so smart." Lulu is extremely proud of his high intelligence. 4 days later, Liverpool hosted the 31st round of the 2016 to 2017 Premier League opponents at home, and I don't know if the opponent's overall strength was too weak. Li Qing always felt uninterested, and only contributed 1 assist in the 60 minutes he played, helping the home team beat Bournemouth 2-0. The final round of the round is the much-watched Double Blue Club, with Chelsea hosting Manchester City. After 90 minutes, the more fortunate Chelsea beat Manchester City 2-1 to once again lead Liverpool by 5 points after one more round. Local Liverpool media also expected Manchester City to draw at least with Chelsea away from home, which ended in a Chelsea victory, but Echo was not discouraged, and after a round, Chelsea will visit Old Trafford. Chelsea manager Conte, who beat Manchester United 40 at home in the first round, had a story with his predecessor Jose Mourinho, and the league game away at Old Trafford will definitely lose points, and if it is not good, it will be lost.